Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Arsenal Away with Ashwin and I. As you all know, Ashwin is based out of Bombay. I'm back in Delhi from my international adventures. Um, we're gonna talk about how the midweek Liège game went in the Europa League. Also, then go ahead just to have a discussion on all the good things that Emery's happening to club this season with the rise of the youngsters, Willock, Martinelli, Saka doing really well for themselves, and of course a preview of the Bournemouth game tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Ashwin, good times for us in Europe.
So far, so good. I
Yeah.
mean, even though we've had inferior opposition, um, but we've played some exciting football, and we've played some really breathtaking football, which we're not used to under Emery. I mean, I just want to put this out there. I've been getting a lot of stick from a lot of guys telling me that I've been Emery out and I'm hating the manager. I'm not giving him time. I'm all for backing the
Okay.
manager. I'm all for backing the manager as long as we get the sort of manager that puts out the teams during the UEFA Europa League games, right? Because he sets up their attacking, he sets up their fearless, he sets up their wanting to win the ball. Like if you watch the game, you could see we were pressing from the top. We played one defensive mid, and we played Torreira in his right position, while we had Willick and was it Guendouzi? No, who played midfield with Torreira? Oh, Ceballos. Sorry, Ceballos and Willick played midfield. So we had two box to box midfielders instead of two defensive mids that we usually go with, and we played a good brand of football. We were the youngsters were hungry. They were they wanted it more, and they looked like they really are pushing for the first team places, right? Especially someone like a Martinelli. He's now played two full games and he's scored 4 goals and he's got a couple of assists. So that too, when we signed him, I thought he wasn't going to be really played through the middle. I thought he's probably signed to play more on the right or left wing because he has that pace. But he scored these 4 goals through the middle, and it's really exciting to see. So if I have to say that, I am ready to back Unai Emery, if this is the Unai Emery I see on a daily basis on the for the league games, instead of just going out there and playing fearless football against teams like in the Carabao Cup and the Europa League, because I feel that he knows the Europa League so well that he wants to play attacking football there, and he's not scared. But I feel when he plays in the league, using Wenger's terms, I think he plays with the handbrake a little bit. So because of which, it puts the team under constant whether we're allowed to attack, whether we're not, whether we should go forward. And what that does is it helps the opposition team come and attack us. Now, if you see what Aston Villa did very well and what West Brom did, I'm not West Brom, Watford did in the second half of the match that day, they basically realized that if they attack us, we are there for the taking. And I don't expect anything different when Bournemouth come to the Emirates tomorrow with Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser. If you see, they're 19th or 18th in the passes completed this season. So, which basically means they're a very counter-attacking team. And at the Emirates, I know we like to keep a hold of the ball. So, what we have to be very wary about is them on the counter and how they take it from there, right? So, I just wanted to clear that out. I'm not Emery out. If I get this Emery on a weekly basis in the league, I am happy to back him. I am happy for him to get the extension, and I'm happy to say Emery in if we get this. But I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, no, I think as you very rightly said, he knows the Europa League, having won it previously in the past. He knows how to go about setting up teams. We saw that against Napoli last year, against Valencia away. Even now, while I wouldn't say it's been very comfortable, the Frankfurt game wasn't the easiest of watches. Especially if there was a better team at the other end, we would have probably ended up losing that game.
Yeah.
But coming back to the Liège game, I think what was really impressive was Martinelli. How he got to the ball for the first goal when he was behind the the last man when the ball came in, and managed to get his header and accurately head that ball into the net was amazing. The second goal, uh, literally no backlift to have curled it into the far corner. His assist as well.
It was a very smart assist.
Very, very smart assist. So I'm liking it. I don't want to get too excited, but I'm glad that we finally got someone who offers a lot more in the box. Someone who's who I mean, this is high praise, but someone compared him to an early Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. Someone who plays in that 9 role, sort of a 10 role as well. But I thought the game was really good. The youngsters did a great job. Tierney was brilliant throughout the game. Old school defender, brilliant crossing. Also, no fuss. Also, there was an incident in the game towards the second half when Tierney was brought down by a Liège defender, and you had likes of not Tierney, Martinelli was brought down by the likes of and you suddenly had Tierney, you had Guendouzi, you had Belden coming and all stacking up against them. So I think that there's a good spirit within the youngsters, at least Belden leading by example, standing up for his teammates, and that's good to see, because we've had teams who've just cowered down against opposition in the past. So I think there's definitely something there. Still early stages. I think while it's looking good, it's how this team continues to perform in the second half of the season. Come Feb, come March, when it's crunch time, how these teams will do. I think we'll reach the knockout stages very easily. It's when, assuming the likes of Real drop down to the Europa League and they're not looking great. I hope they don't, because I don't have enough faith in him currently to change my opinion of Emery. I'm not Emery out. I just don't think he's the right man for the job anymore. I will back any manager, because I obviously don't want Arsenal to lose.
I just want to interrupt you there 1 second. It almost feels so. It's such a contrast seeing Emery playing football in the Europa League and then Emery in the league, right? In fact, I actually saw a tweet where somebody posted saying that this almost feels like a side set up by Freddie Ljungberg versus the side that we see in the Premier League set up by Emery. It cracked me up, because as hard as it is to believe, this is the sort of football that you want to play and you want Arsenal to be associated with. Fast, move the ball quickly, attacking, being aggressive, pushing, pressing the opponents higher up. That's the sort of football you want to play, fearless, because of the size of the club that you are and because of the players that you have, right? You want, like I mentioned in the last pod, our basic strength is going forward is in attack, and we are stronger that way than, say, defensively. So what I don't understand is, in the Premier League, when we have the smaller teams, by smaller teams, I'm not disrespecting the likes of Aston Villa and Bournemouth, but we should be, on paper, good enough to go and beat them, right? And we should be good enough to take the game to those people and not be scared and not start 2 defensive mids in the Premier League at home, right? So it's very, I don't know how to say this, but watching Emery in the Europa League and watching Emery in the Premier League is just different. And I wish.
Also, I just think, Ashwin, there is a familiarity that teams have with Arsenal in the Premier League. You don't face these Europa League teams on a regular basis for them to have figured you out. So there is that factor to take into account as well. But I would like to just the fact that the Premier League right now carries so much more pressure. Every possession, every point gained is vital towards the end. Makes a whole lot of difference towards the end of the season. Also, I mean, when we're 7 games in and people are already counting City out as title contenders, and they're already counting Liverpool as champions. So that's where it's at. Something a discussion. This sort of discussion will only happen in March, and now for the last few years, it's always been 5 games in, and people have already written teams off.
Yeah.
So that's where the pressure is at currently. For us, obviously, we're not going to be competing for the league title. We have again the likes of your Spurs, Chelsea, and as we speak, Spurs is 2-0 down, so that's always good.
Good to know.
I think we will always, yeah, yeah, they're in a negative spiral. They will always be against. We will always be up against the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, United,
and Leicester.
Until we get to a level, Leicester as well. Until we get someone who is a high-profile name, for reasons that you and I have discussed to death in the past. But no, I think so far, if he continues to play how we're playing in Europe, and he can bring in some element of that in the league, I'm okay. I'm not going to ask for his head. The only thing that I will maintain is whatever needs to be done, be it an early contract or be it touch wood things not going well for us. The decision that needs to be taken quickly.
Okay, moving forward, I would just like to quickly ask you your thoughts on the game that happened. Maybe you can do a small little player rating for me and how the overall team performed, and then we can move on to say maybe the Bournemouth game for tomorrow.
Okay, so I think overall, I think we were in 8 on 10. If we were to go player wise, if I go from the front, Martinelli, star, no doubt about it. Tierney had a brilliant 90 minutes. Give him an 8 on 10 again.
Too early for him to start on the weekend? Would you start him
with the fitness? I would like to. I don't think he will. Just because of the fitness. I think they want to ease him in easily. Because he's just come back. And he's got a history of issues, Tierney. I think they'd probably ease him off. I'd probably see him starting more regularly once the break is out of the way. Rob Holding, again, great. Both Holding and Mustafi were Mustafi. I mean, I'm surprised that he's getting some praise. He was decent. I think it was his ball to Tierney for the first goal.
Long crossfield ball.
Yeah, long ball, crossfield ball to him for the first goal. So yeah, I think just a couple of standout players for me from that game. Martinez also again had a very good game, barring one I think lapse of concentration where I think the ball ricocheted. I think he's been good between the sticks too.
Let's not forget both Martinez and Mustafi, when they've played, have kept 3 clean sheets.
Yeah.
So this team has played 3, scored 12, conceded 0.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you think we should probably drop Leno and play Martinez? You consider?
No, I don't think. I mean, they're both experienced enough. Martinez isn't young anymore. He's 27.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's making a case for himself for starting in league games. But why would you drop Leno for? I mean, if he's not really done anything wrong in the 7 games that we've played. Whatever has happened because up front we're crap.
Yeah.
The people in front of him are doing their jobs well enough. But I think that'll steady now once Bellerin, once Tierney, once Holding come back. I don't know who is going to drop out of Socrates and Luis. But that is why I'm not Arsenal manager. I think that's something that he needs to figure out. And the sooner he comes to playing 11, and finally fixes on who his back 4 are and who else he needs to line up front, I think that's gone better for the team.
Okay. How about Bellerin? Thoughts on him?
Bellerin, again, I think he looks like he hasn't missed 8 seasons out. 8 seasons, I say 8 months out.
8 months out.
He looks like he hasn't missed any time off. I don't think he's going to be starting anytime soon, but again, pretty solid. He offers that energy down that flank that mainland Lions doesn't. Um, and also, I think it's pretty much a decent time for him to come back also, because Niles has just been looking off the pace
Yeah.
for a bit now. So
So
yeah,
maybe
so
both
far so good.
Tierney and Bellerin start off after the international break.
I think they'll probably get more regular.
Game time.
They'll probably be the first names on the sheet here once that's happens.
Moving to the midfield, Torreira.
Torreira, I think I don't get what he's doing with Torreira. Is he? I think he was playing at the base this time.
Yeah, he was actually the deepest in the DM role. Yeah, so it was pretty good. And he had a good game. He had a solid game. But at Manchester United,
so
Torreira was
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess he's experimenting, trying something out. Maybe he wants to have a senior player amongst the youngsters in the Europa League, and probably give him a little bit more leeway as a in the Premier League. But all of them in the midfield, Torreira, Willock, as well as Ceballos. Was it Ceballos? Yeah, I think that worked pretty decently actually. Willock, especially Willock with the goal. Yeah. They all offer very different qualities, so the more that can develop, the better for us.
I think we need to do everything we can to get Ceballos' deal permanent and get Madrid to sell him to us on a permanent basis, because we need to.
I mean, with in their current form, if they don't pick up points, I don't see why that should be a problem. But no, again, let's leave that to Don Raul to figure out.
Yeah.
I think he's been good. Is he that number 10 replacement, that creative magician that we've been looking for since Ozil hasn't been getting very many starts? No. And I don't think he's a Santi look like either, because Santi was a lot more creative than him. I think he's just someone who is very quick on the ball, got quick feet, turns really well, and runs with the ball as well. Whether or not he can translate that into stats that matter, I think still time will tell.
No, so I think Ceballos is more suited in probably the number 6 role. No, not the number 6, the number 8 role, which was
number 8 role.
Yeah, so I mean, he can be the ball carrier from midfield and quickly pass the ball over there.
Yeah,
I feel Joe Willock is more likely to be maybe the number 10 or maybe even the number 8, because I see him like Ramsey, like he makes these late runs into the boxes. He had before he scored a goal, he had a great cross that was put in from Tierney, and he should have scored that chance. But that will come with time, that will come with experience.
Yeah.
And I feel that from all the youngsters that are coming up, I know everybody's talking about Saka and Martinelli. I feel Joe Willock is one of those guys who's going to really, really make it hard for anybody to displace him from that midfield. Because
no doubt about that.
Yeah. So that's the midfield done. I know you spoke about Martinelli. What were your thoughts on Reece Nelson and the game?
Nelson really grew into the game, I thought.
Yeah. Second half, he
started quietly. Second half, he started showing his skills. I think he almost had a goal or an assist. I think I forget. In the second half, I think he's still finding his feet. After last season, he's not really sure. He's a little indecisive when it comes to the key moments. Yeah. He'll do really well till the final ball, and then just not have that. But I think that'll come. That'll come with time. Obviously, he's seeing his peers like Martinelli doing really well. He's seeing Willock doing really well. It's still an open book for Nelson. I'm not trying to bring him down or whatever, but I think both he and Smith Rowe will take some time to come back in. Also, what happens is with these youngsters, we're praising them and everyone's really going behind them and telling them, great job and all of that. But that can turn very quickly, and that's what I fear for the most for players like Martinelli, for players like Tierney, for players like Nelson, Smith Rowe. Because you know how our fan base is. They turn on a dime. They turn almost instantly.
That's the flop.
Yeah. So I think as long as fans realize that they're going to take some time, and everybody's got a different curve of how quickly they can develop. So I think that is where I am with Nelson. But so far so good. I think he had a pretty strong second half. So
Before we move forward, the two talking points from that game. The first, there was Mesut Ozil, and the second one, when we were 4-0 up with 80 minutes played, why do you bring on Aubameyang?
Yeah, so the Ozil thing, if he's not training hard enough, Ashwin, I mean, both you and I are really big fans of his. If the manager feels that he's not training hard enough, you even had Mertesacker come out and said that he doesn't think that he's putting in the effort that he should.
I think what Mertesacker said was actually misconstrued. What Mertesacker said was that he doesn't really need to put in that sort of effort because the way he plays, he does enough just the way he does. Right? I think that was misinterpreted.
So I think. I mean, again, if that's the case, then maybe he. Again, just because you put in a certain amount of effort to play a certain way, maybe you need to then maybe you need to change how much effort you're putting into to at least get games to start. And if Emery thinks it's not right, then it's not right. There's nothing that you and I. Obviously, it's annoying because you've got a highest wage order. You've got an amazing creative talent who's just not being used.
Do you think it has anything to do with? I mean, like when he went to PSG, he tried to do the same thing with Neymar as well, but obviously it didn't work out because Neymar's clout was too big, and they gave him clear instructions saying that nothing can be done. Do you think he's trying to do the same thing with Ozil to maybe set up an example? Because why would you name him as part of your 5 captains and then drop him for that game? I don't understand it.
He maybe he's trying to set an example that everyone is equal. But I mean, if you're being quite honest, Ashwin, if we just talk pure numbers, his Ozil, and I say this with a lot of with no doubt in my mind that Ozil is one of my favorite players over the last few years or so. Has he brought anything to the table over the last year and a half?
In fact, before this, I was just doing a little research. Ozil's played 1 game, and he's out of all the games that have been played, Ozil is number 5 in the most chances created this season. He's played 1 game.
No, I get that, Ashwin. I understand that, but every manager has a certain type of player that he'd like to see, and at this point in time, Emery doesn't see him in the 11. If the likes of Willock, the likes of
why would you make him a captain? What was the point of that?
I think that was just more for optics than anything else. Also, he named him number 5 out of his 5 captains.
Yeah.
If we're really going to read into it, Xhaka was number 1, his number 1 choice, and Ozil was number 5 choice. Bellerin, someone who's younger than him, someone who's not won as many things as Ozil has, both at the club and the international level, was named before him.
Yeah.
So
number 3, in fact.
Yeah, so I think that's where that should, if we really want to look into why, on what, and where Ozil stands under Emery, that's I think as clear indication as you can get.
I mean,
I think he will play because I think he should start. I don't. Well, let me rephrase. I'd like him to start against Bournemouth. I just don't know with Ozil anymore. Maybe just saving him so they can send him out on loan in January. I don't know.
But that's the thing, right? Like, will Ozil want to go? I was reading somewhere on Twitter saying that maybe Ozil's entourage feels that they can outlast the manager.
Yeah, they can. And again, we'll know in December. But December is incredibly tough for us. Let's see how that goes.
All right, fair enough. And what do you think about him bringing Auba on in the 80th minute with literally the game 1 4-0? I mean, anything could have happened. Suppose Auba came on and he got injured. What then? He's got 7 goals for us. In 7 games, he scored 7 goals. He's literally carrying us this season. Without his goals, I mean, obviously that's a stupid stat, but without his goals, we'd probably be 19th in the league right now. Why would you want to risk somebody when it's not even important? What is the point of it? I can understand him bringing Pepe on because you want to give Pepe the confidence. You want him to get some more game time. for him to basically adjust to the league, for him to adjust and get the sort of confidence and that good feeling factor, that good factor feeling, back again. Why would you do that with Auba? What if somebody came in with a bad challenge and lunged into him and he got injured? Why would you want to risk that?
No, you're right. I think it bringing on Auba made no sense. Maybe he thought that he could probably get one and have his confidence up for the weekend and maybe continue a great scoring record. But no, it made no sense to bring him on for precisely the reasons that you listed. He could have very easily gotten injured, and that would have left us with the likes of Martinelli up front, with likes of Pepe, who's scored one, is not having the best of starts.
Yeah.
And who else? There's nobody else on the pitch who could have played that role.
Eddie's on loan.
Eddie's on loan. Laka's still to come back. So yeah, not the smartest thing that he would have done. He did for that game.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of Emery bashing for now. Let's move forward and let's preview the Bournemouth game. So, your thoughts on Bournemouth so far?
To be honest, I haven't watched very much of them, but what I can say, at least I was just before the game, we were running through stats, and they've got more points away from home this season. They concede a lot. They're scoring as many goals as they've conceded. I think they're averaging 1.9 goals conceded per game.
Yeah.
We're also the same.
Yeah.
Again, 1.7 something goals per game we're conceding. Where they, I think, I think not losing Fraser was big for them in the summer.
Yeah. Linked with us.
And yeah, and maybe as the season progresses, and hopefully once Pepe starts firing, that won't affect us as much. Especially with Fraser leading the assists last season.
Yeah.
Him, Callum Wilson.
Last season?
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty impressive for
yeah.
team like Bournemouth there.
For a team like Bournemouth, yeah. Him, Callum Wilson, King, Nathan Ake, they're all decent. They're all decent players, and everyone who can chip into the goal. Yeah. Eddie Howe is known for his attacking brand of football. He's not going to change that in any way. Again, it's not the team as much as us, imploding. We get our game right. We desperately need a clean sheet. That'll really do wonders. I don't see any changes in the lineup. I think he will play the same 11 that he played last week as well, barring a few changes.
I like the way Eddie Howe plays football. He sets his team up very well. They're really compact. Everybody knows the sort of job that they have to do. So each one of them is aware of what they have to do, and the team, they defend together and they attack together. So I'm like you mentioned, both teams have not done very well defensively, conceding 1.9 versus 1.7, something like that. So it's probably going to be like another open game for me, end to end. Again, it just depends on which side has the more quality, and so just on those lines, I'm hoping that we can possibly. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game. It's not going to be anything like the ones that we watched in the Europa League or the Carabao Cup, but it should be a little more comfortable for us. We should probably win this maybe 2-1, 3-1, because considering that Bournemouth have come to the Emirates and have never won before, it's a different story when you go back to their home. But when they've come to the Emirates, they've never really beaten us. But at the same time, I don't expect it to be an easy game. I still expect them to really, really make it tough for us. Probably tire them out in the last 10 minutes or so, and then probably take the score from 1-1 there to 2-1 and 3-1 there. Again, I feel like Auba's going to probably have a couple of goals in him and save us from the mid-table club that we actually are.
No, I think it'll still be an open game. I don't see us. I don't see goals not being scored. I'd like for us to keep a clean sheet. I think we'll win. I'd just like for us to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah. So just before we get there, what do you think the predicted 11 will be, and what do you think? I mean, let's break it down this way. What would you like the 11 to look like, and what do you think Emery is going to put out?
I think Emery, what he's going to put out, he's going to have Auba, Pepe up front with
Saka.
With Saka. No, I think he'll have Xhaka for sure, because it's a league game. He'll have Xhaka, he'll have. I think Ozil just might start because Ceballos got, I think, pretty much the entire game.
Don't see that happening.
The back four will write itself. Niles, Socrates, Luis, and Kolasinac with Leno.
No change. You don't think Mustafi can sneak in?
No, I don't think he's going to bring. No, I don't think so. He's going to bring anybody. I don't think it's going to happen there. Mustafi, I don't think is going to start in the league at all. He'll probably stick with the cups and Europe for now at least.
To be fair, he hasn't. I mean, I know the sort of the stuff that he's done before and the nonsense that he's put us through. But to be fair, the 3 games that he's played, he's not really been that bad. He's not made mistakes. He's kept it simple, and he's been pretty solid.
I mean, we played Forest, we played Liège, and we played Frankfurt. So not the most talented of teams, great teams, but not the best opposition.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they'll line up? Do you think he's gonna go with the same lineup from last week, or is it gonna be something completely out of the blue?
I think the back four remains the same with Callum Chambers playing right back. Socrates and Luis will start centre back, and Kolasinac will start. However, I would like Tierney to get a start, maybe get 60 minutes, and then I think it's a bit too early for Bellerin, but I think Tierney he can start there. In midfield, you're right. It's going to be Granit Xhaka. It's going to be Guendouzi, and I don't think he'll go with Torreira. I think he might go with Joe Willock because Ceballos got the whole game. But then again, he might play. No, in fact, what he's going to do is he's going to play Joe Willock. He's going to play Guendouzi and Xhaka, and up front is going to be Saka, Aubameyang, Pepe. That's how he's going to line up. I think Ozil will make the bench. I'm not too certain about that, but I think Ozil will make the bench. Probably Ceballos will be on the bench as well. But yeah, I think that's what he's going to go with. What I would like him to do personally would be, I would stick with Callum Chambers at right back. I'd probably blood in Rob Holding instead of David Luiz. Maybe give him a little break, give him a little breather, because there's been insane amount of pressure on him and Socrates as a pair. I'd stick with Socrates in defense because Socrates, I feel, with a steadier partner, seems to do a little better. I'm tempted to play Tierney because I feel he's ready to play. I think he gives us a different element. He loves to defend and he loves going forward. Unlike Kolasinac, who is better going forward than defending. I would like to see Torreira in the DM, the deep role. Let him play there. I wouldn't mind Xhaka starting in front of him, and probably like a Ceballos or even an Ozil in front over there. I'd go with. I don't know if you can drop Saka because Saka's played really well, but the way Martinelli is playing, I wouldn't actually mind giving him a run on left wing and seeing what he can do. I don't know if you can drop Pepe because see, the thing is, it's not about dropping him; it's about building his confidence. And I don't know how long you can persist with a player because at one point you're trying to get him his confidence. At the other point, if you overplay him and if he ends up losing more confidence, I don't know how you. It's like a fine balancing act. Maybe he could keep Pepe off and start maybe Saka and Reece Nelson, or maybe Saka and Martinelli, and maybe bring Pepe on. So I think that's for him to decide. But yeah, up front, Auba and nothing more.
Oh, also, when you were talking about that, Brighton just scored their third. So
the 3-0 up.
Yeah, 3-0 up.
Wow.
Spurs are not looking good.
I mean, like nothing seems to be going right for them. I was reading an article. I don't know how true this is, but I was reading an article about Vertonghen sleeping with Eriksen's wife.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tabloid stuff. It's all.
He did have a punch mark under his.
I mean, it's brilliant. I love it. I hope they're back. They're going to go back to where they belong. They've got £1 billion and they have a £1 billion stadium. The manager's not happy. The team's suffering. The players are infighting. We're back to the glory days, my friend. I'm sure we're going to go unbeaten next season in the league.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. If Emery doesn't get top 4 this year, it has to be curtains for him because Spurs are rubbish. United are terrible. Chelsea have had no transfer window. So we're the best of the worst, right? And we have to get that top 4 over there. Okay, I don't know.
I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, you're right.
We are the best of the worst over there, that lot. the only team I feel that's going to challenge us will probably be Chelsea, because at some point I feel that the team is going to learn from all the experiences of being a little naive and get better as the season progresses, because they're playing some really good football. They're playing some fearless and some really good football. And I think that more than anything else, I think Leicester's going to be there and probably challenge us for that third spot and that fourth spot till the end. Because Brendan Rodgers, whatever said and done, in a year's time has turned that team around. Like, you can see a clear difference between the way Ranieri plays
Not even a
football.
year. It's what he what
Less
I
than a
think he
year.
came in March. Less than a year. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
see, that's what I don't get. That's Brendan Rodgers can do that in a time that's less than the time that Emery's had.
Mhm.
To make them solid at the back. I mean, they lost Harry Maguire, one of their defensive
Yeah.
linchpins, and Soyuncu has been great for them.
Even
Vardy
at-
just doesn't look like he's gonna ever stop running. He's like an Energizer bunny, keeps scoring, keeps running. They've
and
made
at
some
32,
pretty, and yeah, and
he's
they've
consistently
made.
doing it now, though.
I mean, that's they've made pretty shrewd signings, and they've got a good manager, with someone who knows how to bring the best out of players, and um, yeah, kudos to them. And I think Leicester, with what's been happening with them over the last few years or so, if they're right there, if they along with us to make it the top four, that would be
It's a
brilliant
great season for them.
for football. Yeah.
Wouldn't doubt that. Okay, finally, then your predictions for the game, and how do you see and who do you think will score the goals?
Oh, I think it'll be an open game. I'm going for 3-2 to the Arsenal.
Again, do you see us going 2-0 down and coming back 3-2?
I see us opening the scoring and then going down by 2 and then winning it, or by saving our skins again. I don't know. I'm just saying randomly.
I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, because it's just too open from midfield to defense. There's no cover there. I think we probably, like I mentioned, might probably nick it 2-1 or 3-1. I have like my house on him saying that he's going to score, because he's the only one scoring. And
yeah, that's the thing that I just, now that you mentioned it, we need people to start scoring goals.
because at
That
some point,
needs to happen. That it needs it needs to go around a lot more. Dependency on one isn't great, especially, and Auba is not getting any younger. That needs to happen sooner rather than later.
I mean, if you see the past teams, like our great teams that we've had, when we had Henry, like it would be shared with, like, say, obviously you had a Bergkamp, you had a Kanu sharing the load, you had Perez sharing the load from midfield, you had Ljungberg sharing the load, Vieira would chip in with some goals. Even with the teams in the past, like you'd have Fabregas sharing the goals across, you'd have Arshavin, you'd have Nasri taking some of the burden. Right now I feel since we've lost Ramsey, we don't really have somebody sharing the burden. I mean, Lacazette is always there, but apart from our two strikers, I don't think that there's a one particular player who's going to get us at least 10, 12 goals in the season. And I want that to happen. I want there maybe, probably Pepe will come good. Give him some time till Jan. You might not know, once he starts scoring, he might go on to a run of scoring in consecutive games. It's all about getting that confidence going. So I'm hoping for that to happen. And I'm hoping, because the thing is, Auba's in a purple patch right now. He's 7 from 7. And it's great that he's going to consistently, he's going to try to keep scoring. But at some point, they're going to dry up the goals, right? Like it happened with us. I'm not comparing Giroud with Auba, obviously, but it happened. Like that season when Ozil had 19 assists, he had about 18 of them in Jan.
Yeah, and Giroud not scoring costs us the title that season.
Yeah, that as well. But from Jan till the end of April, May, Ozil got another assist because Giroud missed so many chances. I remember that, right? So it's just that, like, I don't think you can stay hot for like throughout the season. Unless you're probably Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. But there are going to be periods when Auba is not going to be able to score, and you're going to need somebody from midfield to pitch in. And I think that's where the difference is, because Emery is changing his midfield every game. There's no real consistent run. I still feel that dropping Joe Willock from the starting 11 after that Liverpool game when he was so good, it just baffled me. Because so far, whatever games Joe Willock has played, he's been absolutely amazing. Like, he's consistently dropped a 7 out of 10 performance, which is great for a 20-year-old, and he's only getting better.
Yeah, you're right. I think there needs to be. He needs, again, just coming back to the point that we keep making. He needs to start identifying his best 11 sooner rather than later, and then keep making those changes as and when somebody either drops out of form or gets injured. The sooner he does that, the better for us and the team.
Do you think that because Emery doesn't know what his best 11 is for the Premier League, is why he sets up defensively versus when he plays the Carabao Cup or when he plays the Europa League, he knows what he's going to go with and how to set them up, which is why they play a different brand of football?
Look, I think that those run of 5-6 games in the last season, where we couldn't even buy a point that cost us the Champions League. I think that
1 point.
is, yeah, that I think is playing into his team selection this season as well. He'd rather not lose than rather not lose a game.
So what happened
And
to
this was
I'd
some of
rather
this.
win a game 5-4 than win 1-0?
No, I think that's there. I think that'll remain. He'd rather win a game by conceding than not. So I think he's being defensive. He knows how tough the Premier League is, and he's trying to be as solid. I think also it could be a matter of just holding down fort till the likes of Holding, Bellerin, Tierney come back. Maybe we might see a more attack-minded, better formation as maybe after the international break once these guys are back in full flow. So again, let's not. I don't want to jump to conclusions and say that he doesn't know at all, and he doesn't. He's not. He's maybe just biding for time to see how much or how far he can take a certain formation before the right players come in, and hopefully once the right players come in, like Holding, for example, last season he was pretty central to his plans, and now that he's back and he's a ball playing defender and he can maybe implement his play out from the back strategy a little better, which we've stopped suddenly over the last 2 games. We're not doing that anymore, like we did at Watford and games before. So I think once that happens, we should be better.
Okay. All right, Samrat, this has been great.
Thank you, my friend. This has been good.
So, guys, the socials are going to go down. Please subscribe to the Arsenal Away on YouTube, and on Twitter, we're the Arsenal Away on Twitter. So please like, share, and comment, and let us know your feedback, and let us know how we can what we can do to improve. And please, the more you like, the better we get found on YouTube. So please like, please share, and let us know your thoughts on the same. Thank you. This has been great.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.